Well, this is just a bad idea all the way around, Philadelphia. My God, this is coming to us from Law Enforcement Today, and I know it's a legitimate story because I've seen it all over the place. No arrest in Philly for stealing cars, prostitution, retail theft, drugs, vandalism, and more. Oh my God, this was posted by Leah and Anaya. With the ever growing fears surrounding COVID 19, the Philadelphia Police Department has completely and hopefully temporarily changed policing as we know it. Under the guidance of Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw, irony, law enforcement today is told a number of different nonviolent crimes will become non jailable offenses and instead will be effectuated via arrest warrant. Police will be able to detain the offender for a long enough time to positively identify them and collect evidence for their case. After that, the offender will be released. This is such a bad idea. Like, honestly, this is like, why? You know what? Spread chaos, man. We're watching the spreading of chaos from within law enforcement in and of itself, right? Like the system, like with Murphy screaming the whole sanctuary state thing, and not just Murphy, but all of these establishment places completely losing their mind since the election of Trump. Like, yo, they've just completely dropped the veil. And having a police commissioner come out and say, "Yeah, we're not going to be like arresting people. We'll give them a citation. Hey, show up to court for this time. Hey, did we just catch you doing something insanely stupid? Yeah, we'll just we'll expect you to come back to court. Yeah, that's totally going to work." Who is running these places? Reports will be completed per normal and then submitted to the district attorney's office. At that point, DA Larry Krasner will get to decide whether an arrest warrant will be issued for the offender's arrest, which would likely occur once the COVID-19 is no longer a looming threat. I'm going to go ahead and guess that there will be close to zero arrests made at the behest of Krasner, but that's a whole different story, one which you can find plenty of information about on Law Enforcement Today, including in the commissioner's. So apparently, Krasner is has been doing this for a minute then. Included in the commissioner's list of nonviolent crimes are all narcotic offenses, even though I do believe in the end of the drug war. I believe there's a way that, we can go about that. Theft from persons, retail theft, theft from auto, burglary, vandalism, all bench warrants, stolen auto, economic crimes, bad checks, fraud, and prostitution. What? So they can steal your car. This is lawlessness, man. So ironic coming from a chick named Outlaw. Guys, I talk about this all the time. And when it comes to uh like how we've kind of elevated women to these positions that maybe no. Like, maybe, and that's not to be sexist, it's just that, really, like, not to say that a man wouldn't make this type of call. What I'm saying is that the likelihood is far less, because anybody with two good eyes and a penis should be able to tell how this can go terribly wrong for the average, regular working citizen. Am I wrong here? Commissioner Outlaw did leave room for extenuating circumstances, stating, if an officer believes that releasing the offender would pose a threat to public safety, the officer will notify a supervisor, who will review the totality of the circumstances and utilize discretion in the interest of public safety in determining the appropriate course of action. In a statement to the public, Commissioner Outlaw said, our mission is to protect and promote the health and safety of our officers and the community we serve. I think that was in the wrong direction. To the best of our ability, while continuing to discharge every aspect of our core duties. Okay, so once again, the health and safety of the community you serve is supposed to go before your officers. You do realize this, right? Like, your officers are literally there to, like, no offense, police, but you're there to sacrifice yourselves for the betterment of the community at large. This policy does not better the community at large. You're putting your community at risk. What? We live in the weirdest timeline, man. We really do. The commissioner released the new temporary arrest policy the day after Krasner called for a reduction in low-level crime arrest. On Monday, Krasner said, people charged with nonviolent offenses generally should not be added to the jail population at this time. Doing so would only increase risk of infection to police officers, guards, and other detainees and workers. For certain age limits, for certain ages, just like amounts to a small flu that you'll get over. Oh my God. He also said, we want to make sure the police are safe and don't have prolonged contact with people that have the virus. Taking one person back to the police station risks everyone at the station. They go into custody. They endanger other inmates in that great cruise ship that is a jail, and then they go to court. Because Larry Krasner is generally so concerned about the safety and well-being of law enforcement. Krasner, that feels sarcastic there. Krasner had said earlier that his office revised policies regarding charging and bail. The changes were made in order to ensure only people who present a danger to the public are held in detention. Krasner continued, you can issue a warrant for an arrest and come back later. In many jurisdictions, you can issue a summons. Creative people in the courts, police, and our office could come together and allow us to not abandon cases. Not to keep beating a dead horse, but Larry Krasner is more likely to sprout wings and fly to the White House to give President Trump a hug than he is to not abandon cases. So, it's discouraging that the day after he urged Commissioner Outlaw to reduce arrests, she does just that. Additionally, on Monday, Philadelphia courts were announced as being closed until April 1st due to the pandemic. Krasner bestowed his seal of approval on Outlaw following the announcement. In a phone interview, he said, it's clear to me that the police commissioner is trying to be thoughtful and creative as we move into uncharted territory. We commend her for putting the safety of the public's health first. But that's the thing. We're talking about criminals, we're talking about law enforcement, and then we're talking about the general public and the public and having having the ability to just break into cars, steal cars, and vandalize property and all this other fun stuff that they're now saying is completely a go in Philadelphia is just like, oh my goodness. So remember what I was saying about females in these positions, right? Like, this was Krasner's idea. Like, she's just following his lead. Further, Krasner said that this new policy could result in thousands of deferred arrest warrants. He encouraged officers to exercise diligence when getting all information for suspects, victims, and witnesses in order to assist as much as possible in future investigations, as opposed to just locking them up and keeping them where they're supposed to be. I mean, if you've caught somebody committing a crime, I don't think that we should care too much about their infection rate, particularly depending on their age. But the likelihood is that you're not going to catch a 70 or a 50 or a 60-year-old, even 50, because recidivism rates, and if you didn't do anything in the first 50 years, it's very unlikely you'll do anything in like after the age of after certain ages. But either ways, law enforcement is there to take these risks. That's your job. And I'm sorry to, be frank about it or seem as if I'm uncaring, but that is the job that you signed up for, that the taxpayers are paying you for. What the hell is the point? Oh, shucks. Thanks, Mr. Krasner. See, usually law enforcement just goes around conducting crappy investigations all willy-nilly because no one ever told them to actually do a good job with them and get all the pertinent information. I hope the sarcasm there is glaringly obvious. It is. He continued, we as prosecutors will be doing a lot of things later. And later is likely to never come. People of Philadelphia, man, get out as quickly and as easily as you can. This is a very, very bad idea. Miss Outlaw looks like she was born with a awful attitude, and I can't. No offense, man. I mean, you definitely no pumps, no strokes, no nothing. We good. There's probably better pictures of her out there, but either ways, that's me being a misogynist. People of Philly. Get gone, dip. If you can, get your car into your garage, man. Lock it on up because this is a bad call, very, very bad call. So with that being said, we're gonna bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. You want to get videos like this every single day. Share because sharing is caring. And YouTube and BitChute and aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know what you guys think. How is this a good idea? Maybe you can convince me of it. Yeah, perfect. Convince me that this is a good idea in my comment section. And until the next one.